I had a dream this morning that is very symbolic of what's coming and what's going on and the attitude that people have in the world today who don't believe what's coming. So I wanted to share this with you. In the dream, I was in a place that kind of felt like a huge college campus building, something like this. And I was with hundreds and hundreds of other students. And when I dream of a setting like this, usually it's symbolic of the world or the United States where I live. So 1 minute everything was fine, and then all of a sudden there was this huge earthquake. And you can imagine a massive earthquake, the effect that it would have on such a huge, this building that we were in was huge. And so the walls started crumbling. There was rubble everywhere. Students were just like scattering like cockroaches, running different directions and panicking and freaking out. And I knew that I had to get outside of the building. I had to escape this place because I knew it was going to fall, and it was going to fall forward. It was going to tip over like on its face, kind of how you would just be standing up and then you would just tip over and land straight on your face. That's how this building was going to fall. It wasn't going to like implode on itself and come downward. It was going to tip over and fall on its face. So I knew that I needed to get outside of it and then just keep running to like flat, safe ground, because it was going to tip over, and it was so big that I knew I had to keep going so that I was in a place where I could finally escape it like towering over me and it wouldn't hit me. So my mind was focused on escape, getting out, getting to safety. Everybody else in the building, they were panicking and running and freaking out because of the earthquake and the chaos that was going on, but they were just like darting back and forth different places in the building. They didn't want to leave the building, so they were going to like different rooms, different floors of the building. And I just kept saying, it's gonna fall, it's gonna fall. Everybody has to get outside, everybody run. But they were very prideful, and they kept saying, it's not gonna fall, it's not gonna fall, we're fine. And they kept saying, they said, we trust the builders who built this building. They built it with a strong foundation, and they told us that it could never fall, and that it could withstand something this big. And there's a lot of symbolism in that. A lot of people think America could never fall. We've become very prideful, thinking that we're invincible. And that's the attitude that these people had. They were not at all concerned with getting outside of it, because they had been deceived and told that it couldn't fall and that it was going to hold up to this massive earthquake. Even though they could see all around them that it was coming down around them, they still didn't believe that it was going to fall, and I knew it was. So I was trying to like push through the seas of people to get outside. And then at this point there was a huge aftershock. And then two things happened that I think are very symbolic at this point. The first thing is that the teachers called everybody to come around and write their name on a piece of paper. And it kind of felt like we wanted our names written down so that, you know, if everybody died, people that found us would know that those who wrote their names down had been there or something. I've been having a lot of dreams where I'm checking in somewhere and writing down my name and making sure that my name is put on a list. So that's very symbolic as well. So when they handed me the slip of paper to write my name on it, my pen ran out of ink. And I think that's symbolizing running out of time. There was no time for me to write my name on this paper. There was no ink left. So I was trying to write my name, but even though there was no ink, I was pushing down really hard on the pen to try to scratch my name onto the paper, if that makes sense. Because, you know, if a pen has run out of ink, if you push hard enough on it, you can kind of make an imprint on the paper just by like scratching it really hard. You can still see the indentation of the pen on it. That's what I was trying to do, but I was just like, whatever, forget this. I have to get out of here. And then also during this aftershock, all of a sudden the teachers called for everybody to come to an assembly. They said, there's an assembly, everybody come to the assembly now. I know the Bible talks about appointed times and days and gatherings as assemblies. So I don't know I think this was probably symbolic of when we're caught up and taken out of the chaos that's going on around us, because I was like, really? You're calling an assembly right in the middle of everything that's going on? So just the fact that they use the word assembly, I know that, God uses that word in the Bible for gatherings and meetings and appointed times. So everybody else was going down to the basement for this assembly. And I was like, what are they doing? Why would you want to go down to the basement? This place is going to collapse on top of us, and they're going the complete opposite direction of where they need to go. So I just watched everybody run down to the basement, and at some point I made it outside and I was trying to get to safe ground, but this building was so huge that when it was like tilting forward and it was crumbling, and I was like, oh my gosh, when this thing falls, it's going to be bad. So I was just like running and running, trying to get out of the way of the shadow of this thing, so that I knew that when it crumbled and fell, it wasn't going to harm me. And there was this girl that was with me. She was just drunk out of her mind, and she kept she knew she was trying to run away and escape, but she kept passing out, falling over. She'd get back up and run again, then she'd fall asleep. And I picked her up and I shook her by the collar of her shirt. And I said, you are drunk. Stop getting drunk. Run. You have to get away. But she was too out of it that she just kept passing out, and she wasn't sober enough to escape. So I just wanted to share this dream with you guys. There's so much symbolism in it. People think this country cannot fall, but it's going to fall, and it's going to fall flat on its face, and it's going to fall hard.